wasting your 20s and how you can avoid it. I think this comes from a bit of self-reflection and just understanding more about yourself. But again, that comes from experiences, in my opinion, and observing how you react to certain scenarios. What I realized about me fairly recently, I guess, is that I'd say I'm quite easily motivated, which is not a bad thing actually. And I quite like that because I can probably watch some YouTube short, all right? There's a YouTube Shorts page. I think it's called Bolt Motivation. And I just really like their editing and the sound they use and the people they have for the shorts and like the quotes, everything's just amazing. And whenever I watch like 30 seconds of that short, I instantly feel a sense of motivation. I get that dopamine hit and I'm ready. And it works for me. But similarly, I also find listening to high performing individuals extremely motivating. So sometimes I'd put on like a clip of Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Or or like a business person as well, and just try and listen to them, or like basically when I say high performing, I mean a very like world class athlete, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Cristiano Ronaldo, anyone, right? Because they all have that one fixed mentality, and I really look up to that kind of mentality. But then there's also like obvious clashes in the sport world, but then there's also business people that are very, very successful, and they're all just very focused and driven. I think that allows me to just kind of feel motivated when I listen to that. I just want to say, like, I realized that I get motivated quite easily, but it comes in waves. You know, fundamentally, it's all about being disciplined. That's should be the key driver because that's what really continues the momentum. And wasting your 20s is like actually, I'd say a fear that I have for sure because I would definitely understand the value that your 20s brings you, just simply because, like I mentioned in previous videos, the flexibility we have compared to when we're a lot older, 30s, 40s, 50s, right? So because of understanding that I'm not really tied down to anything crazy at the moment, and in the future it will just get like more responsibilities will pile up and stuff. So I understand that, and I think it's a bit of a fear. Like, what if I don't make the most out of now when I don't have those responsibilities? Because it will certainly be hard down in the future, down the line, right? And that fear is what I think is kind of driving me specifically to act so urgently. And then because I understand that we have such limited time, let alone limited time in your 20s. Like, I'm literally going to turn 25 in the next month. So realistically, I only have like another 5 years before I hit 30, and the last 5 years went like a blip. It was so quick. So I just realized that time is just, it can roll quickly. And to be honest, time rolls quickly because sometimes you get so ingrained in the systems that you've built, or the processes that your day-to-day routine that you have, and it just kind of takes away that time very quickly. And what I mean by that is, probably early on in my 20s, like even when I first graduated and started working in the working world, those years went quite quick, and I didn't really get much done, I'd say, mainly because I had my routine. I'd come home from work, I'd play Fortnite or whatever, and go to bed, repeat, and I kept doing that for like 6 months, and 6 months have gone by, and I didn't really get much done. And then at the end of it, I look back at that year, and I'm like, I feel a bit of regret. Then I realized that actually, like, the conditions that I put myself in, the systems that I allowed to be in, actually contributed to that, of course. So what I realized then is, to stop wasting time is that you have to build systems of production rather than consumption. And what I mean by that, before, when the routine was very straightforward, I was just coming home from work, I'd switch on the PlayStation, chill, have a really good time. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, it was very much so fun. And then not really having the responsibilities. The weekends were just there for relaxing, and over time, because I'm consuming a lot of things. I'm consuming enjoyment. I'm consuming PlayStation and TV and all that stuff. I wasn't actually putting myself in a position where I am producing things. Like, I'm actively trying to read to develop on a certain skill, or I've taken a course so I can enhance that gap in me, or I'm making content like I am now properly, doubling down and properly working really hard in the gym. It's an action with intent, so an action with a purpose to gain something at the end of it, right? And then I realized that it's all the systems that I put myself in that resulted me not necessarily progressing, and I felt like I was wasting my 20s. So the fix to it was observing myself, understanding what am I doing day to day that I would like to change because I want to make progress in myself. And to change that would mean to switch up your routine where you're focusing on an outcome, and to do that outcome you have to build a system in place. For example, like I'm doing right now, the next 90 days of the year, I'm documenting it, right? I have those outcomes that I've laid out in episode 1. For example, one of them is getting a six pack. So what am I doing now? I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. I'm hitting cardio at least 3 times a week. I'm eating clean. I've been placed intermittent fasting in there as well to assist with that. So these just random systems for that outcome. And the same thing for other things, like I want to understand how it is that founders for companies think. So I'm reading books like Noah Kagan's A Millionaire Weekend and other books by different founders, and just to try and adopt their mindset and how they think and what actions they have put into place that's led to them being in the positions, or achieving the things that they've achieved. So it's understanding that from a knowledge standpoint. That's that. So it's just putting in these systems that you can then do every single day that lead you to that outcome. Whereas identifying the systems that are actually taking away from those goals. So, for example, coming home every day, which I was, and then playing on the PlayStation and spending like 3, 4, 5 hours on there, that wasn't actually going to get me anywhere. Unless I was training to be a pro Fortnite player or something, which, by the way, I am terrible at the game, I was not going to get there, right? If that was my outcome, to be like a pro gamer of a specific game, of course, then you'd have to play that game. You'd have to put in the hours. But actually, like I realized, like these are the things I needed. Cool. How do I get there? I have to put these systems in place. I have to have these routines every single day, and I have to show up for myself every day, because if I don't show up, that's an opportunity gone. Once I understood that, then everything just became like, I don't know, everything just became like a challenge in a way, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm running a marathon and like it's like long and like tedious and trying to grind through those days. It wasn't necessarily like that. It's more like it was like, cool, this is what I need, this is how I'm going to get there, and this is what I'm going to do that. And when everything's in place, it just feels like you're living to a purpose. And because if you feel like you're living to a purpose, and it just makes time feel more valuable, seem more valuable. And I don't know, I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually feel happier. Like, that's just an outcome. I'm not even doing this to feel happy, but as a result, I feel like, because I can wake up now every morning, like get out of bed at 7 a.m. every morning without needing to go use an alarm. I mean, I have alarms, of course, but I actually wake up before my alarm now, and I get out of bed before my alarm. And when I'm brushing my teeth, I then hear the alarm. And it's just like enjoyment of that every single day. And I feel like now I'm playing a video game. I'm just like in life, and trying to get all these things and doing all these side quests, you could say, to build that character. But yeah, that's what it is. Like, I don't know. That's just, I wanted to shed some light on my thoughts on how you can kind of basically stop, or feel like you can stop wasting your 20s, right? And I think it's a common thing, but yeah, I really do think it stems from having no direction or no purpose, really. Good luck.